Do you see them? The cracks between your world and mine. The breach of something so delicate. Isn't it beautiful? You know, I almost didn't see you there. I fell asleep last night in the undergrowth again. I was out too late and the grass was so tall and so wild and I was blind. All this green in my eyes, streaking across my vision. The grass looks so fragile when it's centimeters tall and you can crush it under your walking feet. But when it's taller than you, it makes a very worthy opponent. I know what you're thinking. I need to stop staying out so late, now that it's getting darker, and especially now that the vines have crept around the streetlights and plunged us into darkness. But between me and you, I love the feeling of it, under my feet. The feeling of rough bark under my fingertips. The feeling that it's just me, for miles, alone, surrounded by green and brown and black. The blackness of the inky sky that blankets this green place. You know what I saw last night? You'll never believe me. I was exploring the tree canopies, carefully treading the twisting branches that usually tower above my head, and suddenly I was met with smooth, cold slates under my rough, bare feet. I had walked from one rooftop to another, across a jagged maze of branches without realizing, and once I was there, on the second one, I just let myself fall backwards onto the mossy slates. It was cold and the moss prickled against my legs, but when I looked up, I swear I could see them. Stars. They were everywhere. They littered the inky face of the sky like a million burning freckles, stretching further than my eyes could ever see. Stars have to be the most beautiful things known to human beings, like us. They just have to be. Now that the lights have been suffocated, I can see them, even above here, even now. You can't tell when you're on the ground, with all the leaves covering your head like parasols, blotting out the sky. But I climbed so high that there weren't any branches to shade me anymore, and for a moment in time, it felt like it was just me and the universe, staring at each other. An unending, indestructible face decorated with endless flaming diamonds, and a mossy girl on a mossy rooftop who could not believe how lucky she was to see something so beautiful. My head was so giddy after climbing down that I completely lost my way in the shrubbery. I couldn't remember which direction I had came from, or even where I was trying to go. It was so dark and so quiet, with nothing but the gentle leaves brushing against each other, and the sound of owls distantly crying, so I stopped here, unable to walk anymore. I didn't want to see anything else. I only wanted to remember that precious moment of seeing the stars again, embedded in the night sky over my head. I saw the bench that we are both near now, so near yet so far from the other, and I lay on its vines that splay out in every direction imaginable. It's been like this for quite a long time, tall and green. I can't remember when it first started. It all seemed to happen so quickly that I can barely remember the process of it. But I don't mind it now, though I quite miss the days when doors weren't blocked and when the lights worked. I've gotten used to wading through the grassland every day. I used to have this dread about all of it, sitting in the pit of my stomach, unmoving. But in the tall grass, it feels like I am so very small and so insignificant, and that makes me feel better about all of it. I wonder how often you see the stars where you are. It must be difficult with all the street lights still intact. But I'm sure if you were somewhere like I am, or even just a field in the middle of nowhere in particular, staring upwards, you would see them just like I did last night. Don't you think they are the most beautiful things you have ever seen? Or have you seen something more beautiful? If you have, I can hardly believe you, even though I want to. I would ask you to prove it, but we are so far from each other. Shrubbery may grow in the imperfections and the barrier between your world and mine, but it is so much stronger than I will ever be. I would never be able to break it. Your world is as mine used to be, so ordinary, untouched by the wild forests that now grow here, insatiable, taking everything. Your world does not creep through the barrier to mine. It only stays still as you do, listening. Do you not have anything to say? Any stories to tell? Any encounters with starry skies that are worth retelling? No. Our worlds should stay apart from one another. You're right. There are already too many traces of mine creeping through the clean pavements of yours. I hope, though, for your sake, that you should take in the stars as I did last night. They are unwavering, unending fragments of our stolen light.